Hello and welcome back to Awakening to Your Story TV, the place to learn, get inspired, and be supported with heart-centered solutions for your everyday problems. I'm your host, author, emotional heart expert, and self-love enthusiast, Alicia Hartzell. Today's topic is everything you should know about those wrong people in your life. Our question goes like this. Dear Alicia, I keep bringing the wrong people into my life. Friends, lovers, even business relationships. I know they are wrong because they end up letting me down and making me feel crappy about myself. I just want to find good people that I can count on and enjoy. How do I bring the right people into my life? Signed, In Search of My Tribe. In the words of Oprah and Maya Angelou, we all do better as we know better. All those wrong people are doing the best they can, just like you are doing the best you can in any given moment. Now, I know that doesn't take the sting out of what's happened in your relationships, but I hope it brings some neutrality into the picture because we are about to flip the perspective around just a little bit. Everything in your life is also a reflection of your own being. It is all just information that reflects your inner workings of your heart. Now, when you have many things in your life pointing to the same information, I like to call this volume. So if you're having some of the same thoughts running through your head about different parts of your life, it's your heart trying to turn up the volume so that you know where to pay attention. Volume happens when you are not paying attention to what's going on in your emotional heart space. Now, volume is a gift. It helps you build clarity around the limiting beliefs that are no longer serving you and that have been holding you back. I talk a lot about this in the starter kit, and you can always grab a kit and take a deeper look at the volume if you go to the website. But for now, know that the volume is designed to help you. We'll get back to that part in just a moment. Okay, it's all about where you focus, because where you focus builds your momentum for what you're thinking, and what you think creates the life experience that you see in front of you. So let's just get curious. What if they're not the wrong people? What if it's not about them at all? What if you changed your focus just a little bit? What happens if you look at those wrong people as a reflection to something within you? We know that focusing on them and their wrongness only creates more of the energy and momentum towards those feelings that you don't like. So what if you saw this as the perfectly designed experience to help you? Remember, everyone and everything that comes into your life is a mirror to your own being. So rather than reacting to that disappointing person, you use them to find the limiting beliefs that have been holding you back this whole time. You take that focus off the other person and you put it on yourself. Now, how do you do this? So glad you asked. First of all, take all of the blame out of it. Turning it inward doesn't mean you activate the blame game. Don't take all the wrongness you are feeling about the other person and place it on yourself so that you can feel shame and disappointment. No, shake all that off and just get curious and neutral about the whole experience. This is where you use the volume in a situation to find clarity that's going to set you free. Once you take that friend or lover or partner or business person out of the equation, all that's left are the words around the feelings and the thoughts that they evoked. So get curious about those things that you can't really get out of your head because they are the illustrations that are going to set your own heart free. Let's create an example with the question that you offered so that you can really see what I mean. You mentioned you want people that you can count on. You also said that the people in your life have been letting you down. As these thoughts keep coming up in your thinking, they are trying to illustrate a limiting belief that has been working in the background in contradiction to your essential truth. If you take the other person out of the equation, that coworker or a friend or love relationship, and just look at the neutral information that they leave behind, you find this idea or sensation of being let down. This is where you get to get curious about that feeling that you have been carrying around with you. When was the first time you felt that sensation of being let down by people? See if you can find the origin story. When you find the origin story to the limiting belief, you start to see it as something that isn't yours. It's something that was handed down to you by another person who was suffering in some way. Or it could be something that you picked up as a byproduct of your own challenging situations. Now, we covered this origin story work in the Awakening to Your Story book and starter kit. If you want to read through example stories of this origin story work, the book is really useful. And if you want to walk through exercises to help you do the work, you can find the starter kit right on the website. But you can absolutely do this kind of work on your own. And as you find your origin story, your job is to release any focus and pattern of thinking associated with the limiting beliefs and start building up your pattern of thinking towards your truth. The language that you are looking for in the truth is usually illustrated by the very thing that you need to hear in that origin story moment. So if you go back to the example of feeling let down or disappointed, maybe you find a limiting belief that says, I can't count on anyone. And you find an origin story of a family member letting you down in a big way, and it really stuck with you. From there, you go back to that younger version of yourself and love them in the way that only you know how they needed to be loved. As you do this, you might just uncover a language like, you are fully supported, or you are worthy of being loved and seen. Now, both of these thoughts are fully aligned with your essential truth. Again, you can find step-by-step instructions and exercises that walk you through this process in the Awakening to Your Story starter kit on the website. As you shift this limiting belief back to your essential truth, you will start calling in reflections of that in the people around you. So rather than thoughts of lack and disappointment directing your experience, you'll have thoughts of worthiness and support and connection directing them. Your vibe will feel better and more aligned with that truth within you, and so will your tribe. As you repattern your thinking back to your truth, you are going to have to spend some time really thinking about what these new truths feel like to you. Then start to dream about how they will feel as part of your new relationships. Really own it. Write about it, daydream about it, meditate on it. Make these new feelings really come to life for you. And if an old thought comes in, just use it as an opportunity to keep cleaning up your thinking by incrementally choosing thoughts more aligned with your truth. If another crappy person comes into your life, just acknowledge it as an opportunity to show where you are aligned with your limiting beliefs so you can come back to your truth. Then circle back and get curious about where you are focusing and where your thoughts are being held. Just keep reaching for thoughts that incrementally feel better and are more plugged into your truth. And as you do, keep looking for reflections of it out in the world around you. Witness them, acknowledge them, and start owning them, because as you do, your truth will become more and more evident to you. Remember, it all comes back to your own heart. So be curious and courageous enough to look in the very place this whole thing starts, and keep building what it is you want, one love-filled thought at a time. And know that until next time, I am holding a place of love for you, where your tribe, well, they're fully realized. For more support, information, and inspiration, join me at awakeningtoyourstory.com.